Hello everyone, I'm Claire Stewart. Thanks for joining us tonight. It's official. Tuscaloosa voters have spoken and they want 7-day alcohol sales. With 15 out of the 16 boxes counted, the referendum passed with 8,873 people voting yes and 2,504 voting no, which equals about 80% in favor of Sunday alcohol sales and about 20% opposed. Since the measure passed, anyone with a liquor license in the city of Tuscaloosa is eligible to sell alcohol from noon to 9:30 on Sundays starting March 6th. The Tuscaloosa City Council will regulate this referendum, and City Clerk Tracy Croom said council members would begin discussing possible regulations after today's vote. News of Tuscaloosa approving Sunday alcohol sales spread quickly this evening. We found some Tuscaloosa residents celebrating at Galette's on the University Boulevard Strip. They told us they're glad Tuscaloosa has come into the 21st century and that 7-day alcohol sales have made their way to Tuscaloosa.
I think it'd be fun to buy beer on Sundays, yeah, since it's never been done in Tuscaloosa.
I mean, a lot of other counties have it already, so they've seen a lot of positive reviews from it, so I think we can too.
It means great things. It means that we'll get more money for law enforcement and things like that.
I'm really excited to be able to celebrate it on Sundays, and I'm really glad it passed.
Economically, I think it'll be really good for the small bars and businesses, so I think it'll really help the economy, even though I know it will eventually take a toll, you're gonna have more police officers, but for small businesses it's always a good thing.
It's not just residents who are excited about having Sunday alcohol sales in the near future. Local businesses are seeing dollar signs. Officials have touted approving 7-day alcohol sales would bring more visitors to the Druid City, which would in turn create more tax dollars for our area schools and road projects. We caught up with the general manager of Buffalo Phil's to get his reaction to the Sunday alcohol sales referendum passing in Tuscaloosa.
People were drinking on Sunday beforehand. They just weren't doing it in an environment that was structured. They were doing it at their house, or they were doing it, at a friend's house. And, it's not, people aren't just going to come out in the numbers now and drink. They were doing it anyways. Now they're going to be in a structured environment where, they're being overseen. I think it's actually going to be safer.
Here's a breakdown of how each district voted today. These numbers show 3 out of the 4 boxes reporting for each district. In District 1, 865 people voted yes, 162 voted no. In District 2, 930 people voted yes, 175 voted no. In District 3, 2,464 people voted yes, 635 voted no. In District 4, 1,282 people voted yes, 72 voted no. In District 5, 968 voted yes, 418 voted no. In District 6, 1,566 voted yes, 738 voted no. In District 7, 798 people voted yes and 304 voted no. Again, these numbers are preliminary and haven't been certified. The provisional ballots will be counted and all of the votes will be certified by noon next Tuesday. You can see all of these numbers on our website, WVUATV.com. WVUA visited several polling locations today across the city and found a steady flow of people coming in and out of the polls. Voters lined up outside, stretching into the parking lot at some places. At other locations, turnout seemed to be a little slow. Election officials say over 11,000 people voted in today's election. There are over 43,000 registered voters in the city of Tuscaloosa. Election officials say there was an increase in voter registration leading up to today's vote. One poll worker told WVUA it was one of the largest crowds he's seen.
At this point in the day, the busiest election I've ever seen. It is non-stop. We haven't had time to drink water.
Turnout has been pretty great, and I hope more will come out.
I think a lot of people have mixed opinions about it. They want it and they don't want it. So I think a lot of people have mixed opinions.
Just to stay home.
Just stay home and let everybody else make the decision.
Tuscaloosa Mayor Walt Maddox said he did not anticipate a large turnout for today's referendum. Something that seemed to help voter turnout among University of Alabama students, stretch limousines. University of Alabama students were able to hitch a ride to Calvary Baptist Church in a stretch or Hummer limo to vote. WVUA talked with one student who said she got the word about the limos through social networks like Facebook. One driver told WVUA he was very busy today.
Well, there's a lot of people coming out. They got 4 or 5 limos bringing people in, so there's a lot of people coming into the polls.
It's really everyone, like everyone talks about it. It's everyone's Facebook status today. Everyone's tweeting about it. It's really, and the president of my sorority is actually from Tuscaloosa. So she's been saying, y'all, like, please do this for Tuscaloosa.
Jobs for Tuscaloosa paid for the limousines. According to Bob Woodman, the money came from political action committees who donated to Jobs for Tuscaloosa. And speaking of Bob Woodman, he joins us live in studio with WVUA's Lynn Brooks and State Representative Chris England, who helped sponsor the bill in the Alabama legislature, allowing this vote to happen.
Well, first of all, gentlemen, both of you pretty excited tonight.
Yes,
it was difficult to miss as you walked in the building that you guys are very excited of victory tonight.
Well, I'm just pleased that, first of all, the citizens of Tuscaloosa had an opportunity to vote on this land because, and it's thanks to the work of the gentleman on my right, Chris England, Representative Chris England, who was able to maneuver a bill through the legislature finally that allowed our people to voice their opinions. So I want to thank him and the legislature for that opportunity. I certainly want to congratulate our opponents. They ran a wonderful campaign. They were very gentlemanly, and I certainly appreciate that. It was so good. But I want to thank the people of Tuscaloosa for this mandate. 80% of the people, and as Claire mentioned, there's only one precinct out, and that is all that is the provisional ballots, right. and there are only a handful of those. There were 75 at one polling place and some handfuls others, but certainly not enough to even make any difference in the election. So,
are you surprised at the margin of this, Bob?
I was.
Because it's 80% to 20%, and in the coverage of this, I never spoke with anyone who anticipated this being a landslide.
No, and there were two things, Lynn. And Claire mentioned this also, that the mayor had said that he anticipated 15-20% turnout. We had 25% turnout, and that one thing, and I'm glad we surprised him pleasantly. Also, just the fact that we were able to get this margin. I told Representative England a little while ago that my wife and I were talking. I said, if we can just do better than Decatur. Decatur passed this ordinance by a 63% margin. Ours was an 80% margin. I think the people have said, we want Sunday alcohol sales, and we want them regulated. We want them run properly.
And it all started with this that I hold in my hand right here. This is House Bill 565, and Representative Chris England responsible for that. This has your stamp of approval on it. Right. Tell us how this all came to be. It has been several years since Tuscaloosa residents voiced their opinions on this particular issue, and started a while back, getting to the point that we're at today.
Yeah, this has actually been something that's been pushed for over a decade. And all the stars aligned in this last session, and obviously my name is on the legislation, but it took the work of a lot of people. I have a 7-member delegation, and it passed out of our delegation unanimously. A lot of representatives, Alan Harper, A.J. McCampbell, and Senator Gerald Allen, who's now a House member. Also, he used to be a no vote in the past, but he didn't do anything to stop it this time. And I don't want to leave anybody out, but King Ewan and William Thigpen as well. It made it to the Senate. And Senator Singleton did a yeoman's job in the Senate to get that, to maneuver the system in the Senate.
Right.
So we need to thank Bobby Singleton, and also Charles Bishop, who signed it.
Right.
And Senator Phil Poole at the time, who voted no, as he said he would, but he did not kill it.
Quite an undertaking, though, to move a piece of legislation like this through. And some might argue in this part of the country, in this what is known as the Bible Belt, some might see it as a political risk to go out. As you mentioned, some of these folks not so sure that they wanted to really get behind this at the beginning.
Well, it's an idea that time has come. I mean, obviously with the vote count today, it's very apparent that I think Tuscaloosa was maybe past due for something like this to happen. And, honestly, I'm glad it's passed today, and I'm glad it's over with so we can move on to something else, because this is something that we've been talking about for years. So even if, regardless of what the outcome of the vote was going to be today, if it was for or against, it was something that we tackled, we handled, and we moved on to something else. And I'm happy that I was just a conduit to making this happen today.
All right. Well, Representative Chris England, who started this process, and also Bob Woodman with Jobs for Tuscaloosa. Glad both of you could be with us this evening.
Thank you, Lynn.
I just want to say it was a concerted effort. I want to thank Bob and everybody that on Facebook, Twitter. I mean, this was a movement for a number of months, and a lot of people worked to get this thing done today.
It was, but Representative England is being very modest. We owe him the thanks, and among the others that he mentioned, but owe him the thanks for really spearheading this bill through the legislature.
Safe to say, regardless of where you stand on this issue, history being made tonight for the city of Tuscaloosa. Of course, Claire, not everyone happy about this. We have a representative with the Tuscaloosa Baptist Association with us who will join us later on.
Thank you, Lynn. In education news, the Tuscaloosa City School Board has approved rezoning the Western Cluster Elementary Schools. This means Central Primary, Martin Luther King Elementary, and Oakdale Primary will all become pre-K through 5th grade schools. These schools will also see changes like extending the school day to 3:45 p.m., adding summer school, and consistently offering tutoring to targeted students. Officials say measuring progress is important to this proposal's success.
In the process of discussion, there are still things that we will have to work on that our board is requesting of us. And of course, we are going to go back and work on those other additional items in this proposal to ensure that we do have an evaluation component.
We'll be able to have the children together longer with the administrators, the teachers, the counselors, so they can be better understood and we can work with them.
Board members say the rezoning is necessary because several schools in the Central District have not made adequate yearly progress for several years in a row. The school system is required by law to make significant changes to its district after schools do not make AYP for 5 years. 2 people are dead after a crash on Highway 11 in Tuscaloosa County today. According to Corporal Steve Smith with the Alabama State Troopers, it happened near Mercedes-Benz Boulevard. Smith says 3 vehicles were involved in the crash. 1 was commercial and 2 were passenger vehicles. No names have been released. State troopers are still investigating the cause of the wreck. The man accused of poisoning Toomer's Corner is living in a car and bathing himself in a creek. That's according to one of his friends. Harvey Updike is charged with first-degree criminal mischief. Authorities say he is free on bond. Updike is accused of dumping a powerful herbicide into the soil around the 2 live oak trees at Auburn University.